All right, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to our room. If everybody can just stay off camera, stay off sound, so that way we don't have any background noise and any distractions. We are super pumped today to have What's a Mortgage Min Win. Courtney, I'll let you intro Min.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, first off, you guys, thanks for joining. I'm excited, Rick. Thank you for asking me to co-host with you on this weekly series. This ought to be some fun. I know I kicked out the email yesterday and had folks reaching back out immediately going, "This is so great. We're so excited." So Min is our first guest on this series, and y'all, I don't know that he needs much of an introduction because he has 350,000 plus followers. So you probably know him already. But he is he's really just he's crushing the social game. We talk about what works for the top producers, and we talk about getting out on video and what your social presence look like. And so I'm really excited to talk with Min today. I know he's gonna share some stuff. So Rick and Min, man, I don't know, man. Let's just get started. We got 30
Yeah,
minutes, and I feel like it's gonna be jam-packed.
and also for anybody that has questions, put them in the chat box so we can get to your questions. We'll be watching that. But man, take over, my man. What's currently working in social media? What were you doing before to get a following, to get business? What's working? Share your playbook with us, my man.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me on. And of course, anything for Rick. Rick's met him through social, but has become a pretty good friend. I really don't meet people from across the country, and then they come into California, and then of course, we run into each other at the jujitsu gym he asked me to show up at, and man, we become good friends, and of course, anything for him. So I think that's one thing you have to learn about social. It's called social media. So understand, like, there's a social aspect of social media that if you want to grow on social, you have to understand social and you have to live social. I'm not saying that you need to be a doom scroller, but you need to understand how social works. Rick and I had a connection. He saw that I did jujitsu. I know that he did high level jujitsu, and we started talking. But do you see how it's called social media? It's not going to be like that with everybody, but understand the psychology of what social media does. It brings people together. Okay. You know, Rick, if I wasn't who I was on social, he probably wouldn't message me. If he wasn't who he was, I probably would just hang up on him. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. So just understand the aspect. It's called social media. So as you guys do social, you need to be the guinea pig of the system. Use social. Why do you follow somebody? Why do you like somebody? Why do you share their videos? Understand what triggers you to make an action on a video. Write it down. And that's what could cause you to make your video. So, what causes that? So, that's the most important thing. We're making videos, but we don't know the rhyme or reason.
Min, pause for 1 second because everything you're saying, I want to add a little bit more color. So, like Min says, I reached out to him. I literally just messaged him and then cold called him. And it's like, hey, you're doing a lot of amazing stuff on social media. I would love to pick your brain. And this was like what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I reached out
Correct.
to him. So then what does he do? He looks at my account and is like, is this guy legit or is he wasting my time? And so that's where Min's talking about your social. He saw that I had potential. We had some common interest. Maybe I just need a little help. And he took the time to pour into me a little bit. And then from there, our friendship grew.
Correct. So, by his social, I can tell that if he's a black belt in jujitsu, he has the work habits to do content because it's not an easy road. So, the number one thing is understanding the behavior of why you do things. And we'll go through that in a second. The second thing you have to do is like, you need to, if it is what you want to do to generate business, you need to treat it social like a business. To me, I average between 8 million to about 12 million a month. There are months when I hit 12 million, 18. I had a couple 18 million months last year. Of course, every time rates took a little dip, I, got some more business in, but that's my average. And that all comes from social. I have one real estate agent I work with. I post her videos as well. So for me, social um, is my livelihood. So if you make it your livelihood, you will be successful. A lot of people don't make it their livelihood because number one, they already have another source of how business comes in to make them successful. So if that's the case, then do the bare minimum. Or if you're killing it, there's two guys, I'm not gonna say their names, but they kill it and they hire somebody to duplicate and find other people like myself. There's two or three guys I know that they're top producers already. Social's not their main book of business, but they just hired people to really good people to hunt down all the good content and copycat it. Or you're the other person that you've turned social into a business. There's a realtor in Florida where she has a very monotone voice. She went super viral. It's like, this floor is as flat as my chest. She has a very monotone, funny
She's
voice.
a comedian though.
Yes, redhead. So
She's
like
hilarious.
she's turned it into a business. So that's what you have to ask yourself first is like, are you trying to turn it into a business or are you just using it to be relevant on the internet? And then if it turns into something great. So once you identify that, it should identify how you want to do social. Because social is not for everybody. And now social is not the only way. I know a lot of successful loan officers that don't use social. So you just have to decide, is it your way or not? Because if it is, then you got to develop your style skill because you try to treat it like a business. If it's not, then just copycat and be okay with it and don't stress out about you're not getting a lot of views because that's not your goal. So
Well,
once you
and
figure,
no,
go ahead.
and for me, like what I've learned from you over the years, because Min has told me, he's like, Rick, stop wasting your time chasing realtors. Generate your own leads on social. And I'm like, Min, you're crazy. I like working with realtors. Well, over the years, I've realized that's the worst part of my job as a loan officer is working with realtors. Drop a one in the comment or drop a high five in the comment if you agree. Like these realtors drive us crazy. Hopefully, I'm not alone. Hopefully, somebody responds.
Yeah,
There we
I'm,
go. Kim's like,
I'm,
yes.
I'm with you 100%. Don't you feel like you do a good job for them? And then every time you get another lead from them, you're like interviewing for a job again and again and again. And then if for me, I'll give them a good deal. They give me a lead back. It's like it's a Zillow lead that they can't get a hold of that they're having me chase down. Or they're calling me on a Saturday afternoon to run DU. And because I don't pick up, even though I was loyal, faithful, I showed up, I brought donuts, whatever I did, they moved the lead to someone else. Like I was like, I'm not having that life. But some people they have such good relationship with their agents. I have this other speech I gave called the anchor. They are the anchor in their agent's business. So if you're the anchor, you're not moving anywhere because you anchor the ships to you, right? It's kind of like lasso grip right there. So anyway, so right we understand. So now that we understand like how do you want to do social? If you're running like a business, then we got to run it like a business. If you're not, then don't over stress about it. Okay. So now let's how I do social. So for me, if you're going to run it like a business, you need to know the behavior of the consumer. We're in a different market now than we were back in 2017. Anyone who's buying a home, it's a luxury, not a necessity. So we create content thinking that we're creating for a necessity. We're not. We're creating for a luxury. So same thing when I run my ads, I look for luxury profiles that they go on Verbo, they go on Airbnb, they go on sites to travel because they have excess income. People who are buying a house now are not strapped in Southern California. Anyone who's buying a house they can afford to buy a house. They're not strapped. If they were strapped, they probably wouldn't be buying a house. The average mortgage payment in Orange County or in Southern California is about 4,500 bucks to 5,000. So when they roll off their lips, they can't afford 4,500. It's like they ain't getting a house. So to me, what does that $4,500 mortgage person look like? What are they into? What do they want to know? What do they want to learn? What are their habits? So if you're doing social today, you would need to know that. Social back then, it's all about education. Education doesn't work anymore. That's why so many loan officers get burnt out because they're putting out content, they're replicating people from the past that killed it. And that's why people from the past, the ones that haven't changed, they peaked. Okay,
So,
because
what do you
they
mean by
now they're
that
just
type of
living off they're
content?
putting out content, they're selling courses, but they're living off their old regime, which doesn't work anymore. Why do you think I
Oh,
don't have to sell
so
courses?
yeah. So basically, I mean, it's no different than we talk all the time, right? It's the right message at the right time. So it's understanding the market to know what the right message needs to be. So to your point, we're not educating anymore, right? Now it's more about hitting that luxury, that luxury buyer, right? And then additionally, it's going back to your very original comment, relationships matter. So understanding the real estate agents that you're working with and truly understanding if you're new to this business, for example, and you haven't really found that right partner yet, so you're kind of testing everybody out, using some kind of data system that's going to show you what your wallet share is, right? Now, obviously, I'm a little biased to MMI, right? But you can see who those folks are, and then you can start identifying who that real estate agent is that you're getting that bulk of that wallet share from. And then maybe that's when you decide that that is the person that you're going to become their anchor, right? Because now you're seeing that repeat business and you're not really going to waste your time over here on these folks that are kind of, they only call you when they just need something out of the blue or what have you. So lots of good stuff there. And then the other thing that I took from that, which I'm assuming you're going to continue to hit on, is again, you wouldn't have 350,000 plus followers without a brand,
Correct.
right? So you've got to identify what your brand is going to be. And I'm assuming that you're diving into that next as far as, what kind of
Correct.
content
Correct.
you're putting out and why.
Like the psychology is the most important thing. The thing I like about MMI, I call it the ghost fart detector. Anyone know what a ghost fart is? You smell it but don't see it. So when
Yep.
these agents, you got to make sure you sniff out the boo-boo ones and the good ones because the last thing you want to do is waste your time. So
Yeah.
for me, I have only one agent, and because I know her numbers and I see where she's going, and I also check on her to see if she's cheating on me or not with any other lenders, right? So
Yeah.
I'm on that thing, and it's a great system. I definitely, guys, if you're in the while you're building your social and you're meeting realtors, sniff out the ghost farts as soon as possible because your time, your energy that you're putting into coffee, meeting them, doing open houses, are they really doing business or not is important while you're building your business. Okay. And also like agents reach out to me all the time and they throw me a deal. I look them up. I'm like, I'll decide right there if they're getting a call back or not. Different with loan officers because I want to help them out. Realtors, I'll look them up. So now that you guys understand, how do you want to build your social? Is it your main book of business? Is it not? If it is, then you got to put time and energy in it. So to me now, who anchors the real estate industry? Real estate agents, correct? So if real estate agents anchor the real estate market, why aren't you making content the way realtors are making it to bring yourself buyers? We're not doing that. So buying a home is a luxury, not a necessity. Realtor content isn't based around knowledge. It's based around feelings, visual. Think about all the top agents now. They're not even doing home tours anymore. There are some that are doing it, but you're chasing a bunch of lower end leads, but they are the local legend in their area. So there's a guy named Rick Lee. Look him up. Jeb Smith. Look him up. Jeb Smith on YouTube. He's also on TikTok and Instagram now.
Jeb Smith kills it. I
Yeah,
follow
Jeb
that
Smith is a
guy.
good friend of mine. Lives down like around the
Oh,
corner from me. Okay,
we
like
got to
not
get
around
connected.
like 15 minutes away from me, but he always picks my brain on social. I pick his brain sometimes too as well. But if you look at their social now, they're talking about local things in their area. And I'll tell you right now, it works because last year I thought I had an issue with being transparent with you guys. There's an issue with my What's a Mortgage brand and my other partners, which I shouldn't have had partners. I created the brand, but I thought I would have to use a different brand. So I started using my other page, SoCal Min. So I built the brand around me and being a SoCal Mr. Know-it-all of everything. And I started growing my audience that way. And because I want to go to Min because he has all the information on everything Southern California. Oh, he's a loan officer. Let me ask him mortgage questions. Now I have buyers and sellers to barter with loan officers. Now you would look up Courtney's system, remove all the ghost farts, and go, all right, if I'm calling this person, I'm calling with the buyer. I call with sellers. If I'm calling somebody, I got seller in my back pocket. I got a $2 million buyer right now in Huntington Beach, next to Jeb's house, actually. And Jeb's like, how'd you get this person? Because I am the local legend on my other page. So if you're gonna do business today, be like an agent, be a local legend. Don't be the educator. The local legend will get you further because you don't sound thirsty. Imagine anyone here who's single. Imagine if you're a single woman, a guy just comes up to you and wants to offer you buy you drinks right away and they're very aggressive. So it's like getting a drink with bubbles in it. Like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Like, dude, what's in this drink, right? It's creepy. But if you were introduced by a friend or they gave you, or they just talk to you, you talk like a normal person, you'll be fine. But we don't come off that way. So when you make your content, don't come off like Schmeagol, I said. Anyone watch Lord of the Rings? When Schmeagol wants to carry them like, my precious, greedy little hobbits. They stole her from me, right? That's how we look like when we put out content. The reason why Frodo carries the ring, if you do watch Lord of the Ring, because he doesn't sound desperate. So your content should not be desperate. Be a local legend in your area. To me, I didn't do local legend because I saw so many people doing it, which is still working, by the way, because anyone who's buying a home now, they want to know all the cool things that are being developed in that area. Buying a home is not cheap. They want to know where the local hotspots are, what's building, what's going up, what's going down, what they should pay attention to. That is very important. For me, I don't have drone. Like these guys use a lot of drones. They do a lot of research because they're realtors. If you have that type of skill set or you have that type of info, then do that. I pick local news. Like in California right now, and starting next year, in high school to graduate, you have to pass a financial literacy class, which is huge,
I love
especially
that.
for California. So that is information that's California based. As I put out more content like that, Min's the California guy. Any laws and regulations that affect kids, our tax dollars in California, I know about it. Okay, California's putting a mileage tax. California, dude, for season, dude, from 8 to 16, you still have to sit in a child seat if you're under a certain weight. People are going crazy. So that is the information I would put out. I'm gonna show you one right now. Come here.
So you say people going crazy. So you're saying it's good to
Rage bait,
post.
rage bait. Like, how dare they? My kid's like 8 years old, but he's Samoan. He's no way. There's no way he's gonna fit in a child seat. This is so unfair. Or in California with all the ICE stuff going on, I'm not. I don't care if you're right or left side. I'm not trying to say anything like that. But because of ICE, they were taking parents. Kids were stuck at school, so they came up with a rule where anyone can go pick up that kid. The only thing that they put in there, if your kid was detained by ICE, then someone who's not a family member can still pick them up. So people who have kids were like, no, hell no. How can a random person just come to my kid's school and sign them out? It was rage baiting to the nth degree. And of course, both sides were arguing. It drove my algorithm. But think about anyone who would care with that. What do they care about? Kids. If they have kids, they have a family. If they have family, what do you think they're thinking about? Home ownership. You see what I'm saying? So like I'm creating a profile based on knowledge. California, we have something called CalPERS. CalPERS is a retirement fund for state workers. State of California took $483 million and invested and lost half of it in 10 years. So think about it, they just lost 50% of the retirement fund. People went crazy. Guess who went crazy? Anyone who worked for the state of California. Police officers, okay? Teachers, firemen. What type of profile is that? That's a W-2 government worker who probably has a solid job, good income, good retirement, who's going to buy. I did all of that without talking about home ownership. Then every once in a while, I would sprinkle out videos about what mortgage payments look like. Little things I hear. Home ownership rules and regulations only in California. And now I'm getting the ball rolling because people are concerned with that. They're not concerned with like date the rate, marry the house. They're not concerned about guidelines. Trust me, loan officers do not stop putting out guidelines. I do it here and there. I even stop now. Like I'm not putting, they don't do well. Okay. Anyone who's going to buy right now, they don't care about these little loopholes. They can afford to buy. They're not like, they don't care about like, oh, the guideline, yeah, if you have a bankruptcy, how you can still buy a house. Oh, if after 2 years, like they don't care about that because they know who's gonna buy it. They're a mover and a shaker. They got money. Everyone understand that so far? I want to go Q&A before I actually go into some slides.
What's
So
funny, before you go into the slides, man, what's funny is, we say, or you said at the beginning, we're not talking to the home, we're not talking to the potential home buyers to educate them on how to get a mortgage. You said, let's talk about what's going on. But really, you are educating them, but you're educating them on information about the area. So
in
it
the
is kind of
community.
funny because you say you're not educating them, but exactly what you just said about all of this stuff with California, you've educated them about where they are looking to buy. So you kind of are doing both, right? I mean, it's just a different version
I'm
of
not doing that. Other
what you're
agents are doing that
sharing,
style,
right?
but that style works if you want to generate business like a realtor. So you can anchor business, so you can
Yep.
barter. Then yes, I agree with you.
So
Yeah,
Min,
I mean it's interesting.
a couple a couple questions we had. And this is a great question. Do your socially generated leads shop you as much as a realtor lead?
No. Oh, realtor leads? No, they don't shop me because I give the lead to the realtor. The realtor keeps them in play for me. So I control the lead, so I don't get shopped. So I make sure that realtor keeps them in play for me at all times.
And then another question we got, which I'm pretty sure you're going to jump into now, is where do you get your info? Do you have a specific source? I commented on here, use local news sites, but
I,
I'm sure you'll jump
yeah,
into
just
that.
go ahead. Let me share my page.
Let me see here. Could you go and try to share?
There, you
Okay.
guys all see my page?
Oh, yeah, see it.
See my news right here?
Wait, it said started sharing screen. There we go. All right, cool.
Okay, so here's my news right here. So those are the ones I just comb through them daily. I got my California stuff first now, my Housing Wire, my Bloomberg. I have my mortgage one just for mortgages. So I comb through this throughout the day because it's my business. How do you have time to do it? It's my source of income. I have no other source of business coming in. This is my only source of business. So like when people ask that question, it's not their main source of incomes. And see here, so this is here. When I talk about educate on home ownership these days, I educate on home ownership, not on mortgage, not on real estate. Estate planning is big. Okay. Understanding the difference between a HELOC and a HELOAN, that's for one of my ads. That's why I made it. But look at my information. Yamaha pulls out of California. Papa John's Pizza is protein. Issues in Los Angeles. United States Airlines stuff. Things that are interesting to me, I share about it. That I feel like it's going to be interesting to my audience, right? Not sleeping enough as a teenager permanently damages your brain. Okay. Southwest, they're not cleaning their coach seats anymore, right? Nothing to do with home ownership. Things in Texas, California gas prices. So I sprinkle new stuff with my videos. Video yesterday about Americans in trouble about the 401k. They're pulling out 401k to make mortgage payments. Okay, look at this one. People arrested for a mortgage scam. Six
Man,
thousand.
go back up to that carousel. Highlight over the carousel. Because what see that has 148 likes. What I'm starting to notice, and you and I have talked about this, is I've never posted carousels until about 2 weeks ago, and I'm noticing my carousels and even my static images. There you go, 1600. I'm noticing those are getting more engagements in my videos.
Yeah, because they show each slide one by one. Costco selling this brand called like white sell off white, right? So just little things like that, new stuff I sprinkle in. Then I sprinkle in like um widow's forced to sell her home because she didn't have term insurance to pay off the mortgage, right? So that's information that's home ownership, but not really home ownership. Okay. My California news one, that's where I pull California stuff from. But most of the information I'm using has nothing to do with actually buying a home. So I have two pieces I'm doing this week, or one piece that's going out today. What's crazy? How to blur and take your home off of Google Maps, Zillow, and Redfin,
Oh, I need that video.
right? Like
I'm gonna copy that one.
yeah, but think about the fact that you heard it, if you were married and you had a house, wouldn't you share that to your spouse right away? So think about this. The human nature is to share information like that. Okay. Another piece of so one of them that's controversy, okay, but like there's no real answer. So when you're getting a divorce and you want to get your spouse off the loan, but you don't want to refinance, by law they should be able to let you do it, but they don't. On FHA, VA, you can assume the more, but conventional, they have to let you modify it, but they don't. Same thing if your spouse dies or you inherit a home from your parents, it's conventional. You're supposed to be able to assume the mortgage, but they don't let you, right? They want you to refi. You're gonna have a bunch of people arguing. So here's the consumer finance protection right here, CFPB. But that is information. I used to do. Dude, CFPB has so much stuff, wealth of knowledge of things that you can do to your mortgage that people don't know about. But that's the information to do with home ownership, which people who buy a home are concerned with. They don't need to be convinced to buy a home. They don't need to people qualify now. But how do I stay a successful homeowner? So that is the education part I put out. But that education part doesn't have to do with buying a home. That's just me. But
Yeah.
I have a pretty strong authority now. But if you're gonna try to get business now, and you want local business, when I called my page SoCal Mint, I got more local business to exchange. I get deals out of state still. Like I have this Ohio purchase right now, but who am I gonna give it to? I might close that deal. That's great, but I'm not gonna get a referral back. You know, when I call an agent, right now, if I do want to work with an agent, right? I'm sitting on 7 pre-approvals that have no real estate agents. Okay. They're in that stage where I'm collecting everything, but I have 7 bullets in my chamber. You don't think if I go on MMI and like, I can go even for the top person. What are they gonna do first? They're gonna look me up. Oh, it's Min. Oh, I'm for sure answering this call. What does he want? Does he want to sell me something? Like, hey, Courtney, it's Min. I do have. I want to call you because I do have a buyer in your area. I got to approve up to 800,000 before I'm gonna look for who I'm gonna give it to. I normally partner with agents and I trade deal for deal. So if you have a deal for me, I have a deal for you. If you don't, then it's fine. I am black and white. And I'm like, don't send me no ghost fart. I don't want to lead out to chase. I want a pre-approved deal because I have a pre-approved buyer. So if you have a pre-approved buyer, I have a deal. I'll give you my next one. No, I'm good with that because I know you got someone cooking. Give me someone I don't have to chase that actually has a down payment. I'm like brutally honest with them because I'm an $800,000 purchase in California. That's 16,000. That's more. That's like $20,000. I'm giving someone 20,000. It's in my hands. So why would I water it down? But if you do your content based on local legend, like these agents are, like Jeb, like Rick, you're gonna get local buyers. Now you can have something to barter.
Well, I appreciate you putting me in the same category as you and Jeb. I'm not quite there yet. I'm like white belt level,
Oh, there's a guy
but
named Rick Lee. Rick Lee, look up
oh,
Rick Lee. Jeb,
never mind. Okay, I
Jeb
thought
Rick's
you were
like,
talking.
Rick's like, thanks so much. Like, oh man,
Oh,
he's like,
thanks for.
Rick's feeling good about himself, and now he's gonna get off the call and he's gonna go, oh
no,
no,
no. Look
that's
at
not who
Rick.
he was
No,
talking
Jeb
about,
Smith and
right?
Rick Lee are real estate agents. Look at Rick Lee's page.
Yeah,
Rick Lee, Jeb copied Rick Lee actually when it comes to social, not YouTube.
so on your static images, like there's people that are watching this might want to do that, but they might not have the marketing chops to make the static images you make. Is there like any AI function or any tool or resource you'd recommend?
So there's a guy I pay like in India. I pay him 600 bucks a month. He gives me 6 carousels a day. I mean 6 images a day, but I still forward him everything. Like I'm looking through, so I'm forwarding him what I want him to do. He can do it as well, but I know what I know what my audience wants. I'm trying to blend in California. I'm still doing California, even though I'm doing more nationwide. I still blend in California, blend in other things that are affecting us. Stay away from all politics, of course, and that just pushes through because there's already viral information out there.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
think about it. There's already viral posts out there. Look up all your local, if everyone's, I don't know everyone what state you're in, look up all the type in the name of your state. I'm sure there's already pages. There's politicians, there's other pages. Like there's one called SoCal Feeds. There's so many California ones as well. And you follow all those, follow all the news Instagram pages as well, Facebook, Instagram pages, and you'll see the viral post. Also, there's videos there too. So you can even, they're already putting the 5-second video, just download the video and then put it on your page.
So another question I have here is, do you use everyday scenarios you see when qualifying clients? Do people get upset for using their situation and talking about it online?
I don't use their name, you know. I don't use their name. That's the main thing. They don't get if it helps other people, I keep it very general. I'll
Well,
say
and
that,
you've
oh,
used videos
this
before,
is I
like
have a
Steve.
client in the city of such and such, buying such a dude, I'm not gonna say that. I'm like, hey, there's a lady right now that I know is like, dude, she is forced selling her home because her husband passed away and they just burned through all their savings. And he didn't have a life insurance policy. Now they can't afford the home. They have to That's a pretty sob, sad, jacked up story, but it is happening more and people aren't insured.
Well, and I seen you do one where you're like, I had this past client, we'll just call him Steve, and Steve was in a lot of credit card debt, but had a ton of equity in his home, and you just kind of went through that story.
Yeah. I do
But
that
I
all day long.
do, yeah, I love
Like
how you do the stories.
Yeah, like right now, like dude, what's gonna cause a crash in the housing market is when people with tons of equity are so afraid to get a home equity line of credit because interest rates are high. Then all of a sudden now they didn't qualify for that. They have to refinance their first mortgage, and now their first mortgage, dude, they can't afford that either because they've that one late now causes domino effect, and now they're pretty much gonna lose their home. They have to not
Well,
lose it, but they have to sell their home.
Well, we're coming up on our time, and I want to be super respectful of your time and everybody else's. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, but this was helpful, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Just want to make sure that we're bringing value to everybody on this call. But while we have Min for a few more minutes, if there's any questions you have, ask away.
Yeah, definitely. For you, Rick, if you want me to come on again in a couple weeks, just let me know. But I want to make sure that
Now, I want to
I'm
keep you to
everyone's
myself.
covered.
I don't want you sharing too much.
Yeah.
Well, I do
So
think it's important to let our audience know and not to take away from Min at all, but the idea behind this series and why Rick, wanted to start this and why I jumped on to say yes, I would do it with him is really just to get us all in one place, have this very just, casual conversation, right, about what is working with people. So what we're going to be doing over the course of the next several weeks is bringing folks on, from different lenses, right? It could be different roles, but really just talking about, what stands out, what makes a difference. And so it's all about what resonates with you, what resonates with your business. So hope you guys continue to join us, share as well. So wanted to sprinkle that in, but man, thank you so much. Again, I say it all the time, relationships matter, and you just sum that up again, saying that that's exactly what social is doing, right? It's creating opportunities for those relationships.
100%. And as you guys use MMI, find a way. Don't chase those ghost farts, guys. Use MMI so you don't waste time chasing ghost farts. All right, guys.
Yeah, well, the MMI piece is definitely going to be your little sleuthing tool, that's for sure. So you definitely don't want to go find you want to find the right people.
Correct.
So,
Awesome. Well, man, thanks so much. Looks like we don't have any more questions. So, oh, he already bounced off. All right.
yep.
Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks,
Tune in for
guys.
next week.